loss of my roommate, Chloe, still feels like it happened yesterday, even though 3 months have passed. My name is Sarah, and I'm a psychology student at Willowbrook University, a small campus in the quiet Midwest. Everything turned dark for me after Chloe died. We shared room 207 in Oakwood Hall. We chose it because the window overlooked the green, perfect for people watching. Chloe was the light of the room. Her side was always messy with colorful band posters and fairy lights. She had this silly wind-up clown doll from a fair, a red-nosed thing with a broken key that never worked. "It'll dance for us both one day," she used to say. God, I miss her laugh. The accident was my fault. It happened on a rainy Friday night in August. We had just moved back in, unpacking boxes. Chloe asked to borrow my old Honda Civic, the blue car my dad gave me, because her car was still back home. It was pouring rain, and I knew my wipers were bad. I hesitated, but she was bouncing with energy. "Sure," I said, forcing a smile. "Just drive safe." She hugged me, smelling like vanilla, and ran out. That was the last time. The police called at 11:47 p.m. Chloe hydroplaned on County Road 22 and died instantly. It was my car. My fault for giving her the keys. The guilt is like a knife in my chest every morning. The room is half empty now, a ghost of itself. Her bed is still made, and dust gathers on her desk. A shrine I can't touch. The RA offered me a new room, but I refused. I sleep with her fairy lights flickering. At first, the weird stuff felt like stress. I'd come back and find my chipped blue mug, the one Chloe gave me, gone from my nightstand. Then I'd find it placed neatly on her desk, right next to the broken clown doll. Her posters and pens scattered like she just left. I'd pick it up, hands shaking, and mutter, "You're losing it, Sarah." But it kept happening. My black hair tie was suddenly on her pillow after I'd napped, and it was always near that doll. It stared with its painted smile, its eyes blank. I tried telling myself it was stress, but the fear grew. The night it all cracked open was late October, stormy and late. I was trying to study, curled up on my bed. Around 2 a.m., I heard a faint, mechanical whirring, frantic and off-kilter, came from her desk. I looked up. The clown was spinning, its arms flailing, its snapped key somehow turning on its own. It spun for 10 impossible seconds, then stopped, facing me. I jumped up, terrified, and saw a slip of paper tucked under my door. Yellow legal pad, Chloe's handwriting. It was a joke only we knew about a time we burned cookies, ending with, "Don't forget the gummy worms next time." See, I collapsed, sobbing. No one knew that joke. I ran to campus security, telling the officer everything, the mug, the clown, the note. He just tapped his pen and handed me a pamphlet. Coping with loss. He didn't believe me, leaving me utterly isolated. The real terror crashed in 2 nights later during a violent storm. I was huddled under my blanket, trying to ignore the thunder. Then a whisper, right there next to my ear, cold and hollow. "You shouldn't have given her your car keys, Sarah." I screamed silently. It was her voice, but warped. That was my secret, the fight we had. I hadn't gently handed her the keys. I had yelled in anger, "Take the damn car and go." No one knew that part. Now it did. The thing that caused Chloe's death, whether it was her ghost or a twisted predator, knew the exact poison eating me alive. I was trapped in room 207, and with every creak, I knew I was being watched by the darkness that took Chloe from me. I remember that bad night. It was like a burn on my arm. It happened a year ago. My name is Mark. I am a regular man from a small town. I go to Hillside College in a quiet state. The college is old. In the fall, the leaves are red and yellow. It looks nice, but for me it was all dark after one night. I had to write a big school paper for my class. Took all my time. I worked in the old library building. It was a quiet place with tall shelves. No one went there. Closed at 12 at night. I asked the guard, Mr. Jones, to let me stay. I worked alone. Felt safe but lonely. Then a quiet boy named Sam came. He was in my math class. He sat in the back. Sam had messy hair. His eyes looked at things for too long. He came to me one day after class. "Hello, Mark. You work hard on that paper. I can help with the numbers. I stay up late. I needed help. My eyes hurt from looking at the numbers." I said yes. "Good. Meet at the old library tonight at 9. The first 2 nights were okay. We sat at a big wooden table. Our computers made the only light. Sam was smart. He found mistakes in my work. We talked about food and boring teachers. He brought me coffee once. It was the kind I like, black, 2 sugars. "How did you know my drink?" I asked. He just smiled. I guessed. I did not think about it much. But then things got strange. The next night, Sam hummed a song. A very old song that I listened to on my phone. No one knows this song. "You like that band too?" I asked him. He nodded. "Yes, it sounds good at night." I felt cold, but I kept working. The paper was important. It got worse slowly. He once saw the picture on my computer screen. It was a picture of my little sister, Lily. He saw it fast. He then asked, "Your sister is Lily? She has a good smile." My heart stopped. "How did you know her name?" I asked. He said, "I saw it fast." But his eyes looked at me too long. I felt watched when I walked home. I thought it was just stress. Sam was just strange. One Tuesday, it was raining hard. We went to the bottom floor archives. It smelled like old paper. It was very cold. The clock hit 12. The main lights went out. The guard, Mr. Jones, left. "He locked up," I said. We went to the back exit door. It was the only way out. I pushed the bar. The door was chained shut. Heavy metal links. "The guard never does this," I shouted. Sam stood near me. He was calm. He smiled wide. "He went home early," Sam said. He was not worried. I took out my phone. No signal. The building killed the phone signal. "Use your phone," I said. He pulled it out. The screen was black. "Dead battery," he said. It was a lie. I saw it was full before. Panic hit me. "Sam, stop joking. Let's find a way out." He did not move. He took a small silver box from his bag. It had buttons and wires. "No need," he said. He pushed a button. He said he turned off the alarm 1 hour ago. He said he locked the doors himself. "We have the whole building, Mark," he said. He said he was studying me. More than the school paper. He knew my habits, my fears. The coffee, the song, Lily, they were all tests. You passed. I felt sick with fear. This was a trap. He planned this. He used the paper to get me alone. I was trapped in the biggest, most quiet building on campus. No one knew I was there. I screamed, but the building was too big. Sam's voice was quiet, like a teacher. "Your chance to hide is low. Running is worse. Soon, it is just us." I ran. I ran between the tall shelves. Sam's feet were slow but close. He kept whispering numbers about me not hiding well. I found a small window in a side room. It was thick glass. I grabbed a heavy book and threw it. The glass broke loud, cut my arm badly, but I went through. I ran to a phone on the wall. I called the school police. Old library basement. Locked in. Sam. Police came fast. They broke the door. They looked everywhere. Sam was gone. He vanished. The detective said Sam was a stalker. He was a planner. They never caught him. I finished my last year from home using my computer. I still dream about the old library. I learned one thing: trust is a locked door. And some bad people don't need a key. They just need a quiet night. I remember that night because the pain feels carved into my heart, still vivid after 6 months. My name is Clara, a 32-year-old mother who lives in a quiet town near a central metropolis. I hold a cleaning and preparation role at Greenleaf College, a serene place with manicured lawns and dignified old brick buildings. I took the night shift from 10 in the evening until 6 in the morning because the increased salary was necessary for rent and groceries after my husband left. But the job takes a heavy toll. My deepest regret is the distance from my 6-year-old son, Leo. He has his father's beautiful brown eyes and curly hair, and he spends his days drawing dinosaurs. Because of my schedule, I miss him keenly. I leave as he eats dinner, and I arrive home as he is heading to school. I feel overwhelming guilt for prioritizing money over time with my boy. Every night, driving my old gray car to the campus, I whisper the same painful apology. Mommy will be home soon, Leo. The science hall is cavernous, filled with long, echoing corridors. My routine keeps me isolated. No students, no professors, only the dim, yellow bulbs buzzing like a persistent hive. I begin in the front office and move to the immense biology lab, scrubbing the counters where the students conduct dissections. The mix of clean soap and old paper smells familiar, but the silence feels oppressive, making me feel like the last person on earth. The routine was broken one Tuesday night. Rain tapped the roof lightly, and I was wiping down green tables in the biology lab when I heard a sound at 11:30 p.m. It was small, a flat, mechanical voice coming from the corner sink. It said, "Mommy, why did you go?" It was Leo's high, sweet voice, and my heart seized. I spun around, but the room was empty. I told myself my tired ears were playing tricks on me, but the feeling of being watched was intense. 5 minutes later, the voice repeated itself, clearer this time, seeming to come directly from the hall. I dropped my rag and ran to the door, peering out into the dark corridor. Nothing but my own long shadow and the wind rattling the high windows. I tried to dismiss it as stress and exhaustion, yet the tears burned my eyes. I desperately wanted to call home, but when I picked up the old black wall phone, there was only a dead hum. The line was cut. Back at the teacher's desk, I logged into the computer, seeking a distraction. Instead, all 3 large wall monitors flickered to life, displaying the same single image, a very recent photograph of Leo asleep in his dinosaur blanket. I was the only person who had this photo, having taken it last night. My chest tightened in panic. This was a calculated intrusion, designed to exploit my deepest pain. Someone or something was actively watching me. I rushed to the front desk, past the lockers, to the security screen. I punched the code and watched the camera feeds. The parking lot was empty, the front door locked. Then, on the feed for the lab hall, I saw a tall, thin shape in a white lab coat. It wasn't walking. It moved with a smooth, gliding motion, like the uncanny figure I had once read about. As it turned toward the biology lab, heading straight for the security desk where I was, my mouth went dry with sheer terror. I ran back and locked myself inside the main chemical storage room, a heavy metal vault at the end of the hall. I could hear the gliding feet stop outside. Then, the chilling, mechanical child's voice returned from the crack under the door. "She needs to choose, Mommy. You left me." The entity was using my son and my guilt as a weapon against me. Suddenly, the lights snapped off, plunging the room into total darkness. Then came a sharp, sweet-smell gas. The security ventilation system had been tampered with to pump toxic air into my locked room. I was trapped and helpless. I kicked and screamed, but my voice was weak and my throat tight from the gas. I thought only of Leo and whispered a final apology, sinking to my knees as my vision blurred. After what felt like an eternity, the lights flickered back on. The gas was gone, and the heavy metal lock was undone. I scrambled out, finding the hall completely empty. The cameras were back to normal. That morning, I drove home and quit the night shift. I took a lower-paying day job just so I could see Leo in the mornings. I tell myself it was a hallucination, a stress-induced break, but I kept the crayon drawing, the one that had mysteriously appeared on the metal table, showing Leo and me with a thick black X over my face. I know that terrifying entity used my family's sacrifice against me, and I fear it is still waiting, always ready to glide close on one more dark, isolated night.